we're really gonna preview or review mostly the Premier League. We will start. We already did a review of the United Leicester game in the last podcast, so
We did, because it was that weird like Friday game.
yeah, we recorded that day actually, and then released the podcast that day on SoundCloud, by the way. Yeah, let's get into this. The first game on the board was Newcastle United versus Tottenham Hotspurs.
Tottenham.
I don't know what Newcastle's stadium is called, but it was in Newcastle.
Toon Park or something like that, isn't it?
Something, I don't know.
I'll tell you right now, it's probably on this thing.
Regardless, unfortunately,
St. James's Park. I don't know.
St. James's Park. Spurs won 2-0. They possessed the ball 60% over Newcastle's 40%. Shots, Newcastle had 15 with 2 on target, and Spurs with 15 with 5 on target. Unfortunately, the post was Spurs' best defense in this game. I feel they had about, I think, 3 or 4 posts, or Newcastle had 3 or 4 posts or shots that hit the post. Basically, it was like, wow.
Wow.
I'm not a Newcastle fan. The most thing I got out of this was Spurs is Spurs. They should have won the game, but also DeAndre Edlin had an injury at the end of the game. That's the only thing I was really worried about. But regardless, I thought it was somewhat. I mean, his defending on that cross on Dele Alli was questionable. Obviously, the first goal was Harry Kane. No.
Nope.
Wasn't Harry. I know Dele Alli scored the second one to put them up, and then Joselu from the recently transferred Stoke City.
Vertonghen. I knew it was one of the center backs.
Yeah, it was a header, right?
It was.
Yeah.
'Twas.
But yeah, it's a game that Tottenham should have won. We were saying like if Newcastle wants to take points early, this is the best time to do it.
Yep.
But they didn't, unfortunately. But I think they played pretty well. In my books, I think it's a good starting off point. I mean, they were competitive. They got 15 shots, even though 2 were on target, but they were still attempting goals. I think they're still going to be a side either mid-table or above for me.
Newcastle, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
Spurs like the Spurs. I don't know.
Yeah, same old Spurs.
Yeah.
Literally same team because they didn't sign anyone. Rip.
Yeah.
I think this game was basically just who could miss the least chances, and that turned out to be Spurs.
Exactly.
Newcastle all last season had a really hard time putting the ball in the back of the net, and they were a little bit unlucky, I think, in this game, but still kind of New Year, same problems for Newcastle.
Yeah.
I don't know that the Edlin injury will really affect them too much,
yes.
but
it's
not going to matter for them.
They just brought in a right back. I don't remember his name. But I know they made decent amount of signings, especially up top, to get some more depth up top. So,
Harry Kane keeping that August goal drought going really well.
Yeah. Moving on.
Yeah, I guess it was just Tottenham were supposed to win this game, and they didn't really look that great, but they got the 3 points.
Exactly. Just like United. Anyways, moving on. Let's go. Watford versus Brighton. Watford won 2-0. With 53% possession, 47 to Brighton. 19 shots with 5 on target, with 6 shots for Brighton and with 0 on target. I think this game had the most fouls out of all of them, and it had 26 fouls.
Dang.
I think one of the later 2 games had about 2 short. Interesting note: Foster made 0 saves for Watford when I saw, and then Pereira scored the 2 goals, who I thought were amazing.
I got all those clean sheet points though.
Yeah.
On my fantasy team for starting Foster.
Both goals were pretty good. I think the first goal of the game was probably like one of my top 3 goals of the week.
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah. And the second one was like a good run and then like finish at the near post.
Same, it's kind of like Richarlison's kind of goal in a way.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Pereira obviously had a great game getting that brace for Watford. Brighton going 90 minutes without a shot on target against Watford is not boding well for the rest of their season. Yeah, I think Watford are definitely the better team and came away with the 3 points.
Yeah, I think Pereira is also starting to get his footing into the Premier League after 3 years, but he has his like bright spots every so often. This past weekend was one of them.
Yeah.
Moving on to Bournemouth versus Cardiff City. Bournemouth went up 2-0 this past week with the possession at 63-37. Shots 12, 4 on target for Bournemouth, 10 and 1 shot on target for Cardiff. The goal at the very end of the game by that was led up by Simon Francis. Great effort. Won the ball back and kept the play going, and then obviously Wilson got it at the end of that. They need to keep on doing that kind of stuff to keep them into the season. It's good to see that because like now I think Bournemouth is like not ready to take a step, but hopefully are ready to take a step towards being the solid mid-table teams.
Yeah.
Because the win over Cardiff, Cardiff wasn't as impressive as somehow they went lower than what my expectations were, but that's what it was.
Cardiff looked like a championship team in this game.
Yeah.
I was happy to see Callum Wilson get that goal, especially because he missed a penalty earlier.
That was true, yes.
So like good for his confidence because Bournemouth are going to need him to be putting the ball in the back of the net regularly. Probably need at least like 15 goals from him.
Jermaine Defoe still on the team?
Yeah, but he didn't come on until like after Callum Wilson scored, I think.
Okay.
He came on in stoppage time. But yes, he is still on the team. But I don't know how much playing time he's going to get. I really don't think he got that much playing time last year, even with Callum Wilson out.
It was what's his name? Phoebe, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who is that? He got transferred this past year, but I don't remember where he moved to.
Yeah, so Bournemouth definitely going to be needing Callum Wilson.
Yeah.
But it was like once again they were the better team. They deserved the 3 points.
Pace.
Yeah, I know. I don't know if he has the same. If he runs quite as well as he used to.
Yeah, after that injury, obviously, but that's what it was. Moving on. Here we go. Huddersfield Town versus Chelsea. Chelsea won 3-0 with 63% possession over Huddersfield's 37. Huddersfield had 6 shots, 1 on target, and Chelsea had 13 with 4 on target. 3 of those going in, obviously. My take from the game, Chelsea was Chelsea. I feel like in a way. I mean, they're missing some players, but that's what I expect Chelsea to play against these the smaller teams. I really enjoyed Pedro's goal, and William playing on the left was kind of interesting too, because usually he's on the right side, but I know he's been able to play on the left, but it's interesting to see him play on the left. So hopefully that FIFA card's on the left too.
Yeah. I think I had this game as a draw. Actually, I was hoping that Huddersfield, opening day of the season, home game, opening day of the season, like we said again, like the Newcastle Spurs game, that this was Newcastle's chance to take points off of a top team. This was Huddersfield's chance to take some points off a top team, and especially given the way that Chelsea had played in the Community Shield the weekend before, I was thinking that they looked pretty disorganized then. And they went with this. I think they had the exact same back line. It was Rudiger, David Luiz, and then Alonso and Azpilicueta on the wings, or on the right and left.
Interesting too. Huddersfield played with a 3-man back, which was interesting. So I think it kind of.
If by interesting you mean really, really stupid.
Yeah, well, because sorry, right? That's his name. He's kind of used to playing 3-man back, so I think that kind of was like he was like, all right, I play this in Italy all the time.
Yeah. Pretty straightforward for Chelsea. I don't think they were ever really troubled. Like you said, 6 shots, 1 on target. Kepa. I'm going to learn in the next week how to actually say his last name, so I don't just keep saying Kepa. I could probably spell it, but I can't.
You can spell that?
Yeah.
I can envision it, but me trying to put the words on paper, I would struggle.
I think they were doing fine even without Eden Hazard because Hazard didn't start. I think it was a complete they were much more dangerous once they brought on Eden Hazard. He was tearing Huddersfield apart and set up Pedro for that 3rd goal.
Yeah.
So we got a little bit of a glimpse there. I think Sarri was able to use the week to make some adjustments after that Community Shield game.
A lot to learn.
And obviously they're playing not excellent opposition. So
also I think it's going to be interesting to see them in the next couple of months and how he really shapes that team to be.
Yeah. And Chelsea also, it will be helpful for them throughout the whole season if they can keep getting goals from Conte and Jorginho.
Well,
Nah.
Conte's goal was like kind of surprise. Like
He mishit that really bad.
Yeah, and then Jorginho's goal
Penalty.
wasn't a penalty. So
It was. I know it was pretty cool. Like,
Yeah.
that was a pretty cool. I mean, like, just he was relaxed.
Yeah, but I mean,
No pressure. Just ease the ball in the back of the net.
I think he's like it's only Huddersfield in Italian, like
Yeah,
Italian
probably.
accent.
In Italian. It's only Huddersfield.
It's only Huddersfield. All right, here we go. Moving on, we got Fulham versus Crystal Palace.
Oh man.
My kind of surprise of the week, but like I was.
Yeah,
happy,
I was
though.
really I was so disappointed in Fulham.
2-0 for Crystal Palace. Surprisingly though, possession was weird. 66% possession for Fulham, 34 for Crystal Palace playing that counterattack.
Yeah, it was one of these like bend don't break sort of performances. I really think that Fulham was the better team here.
Yeah.
But they just could not get it together in the final third.
Yeah, so Fulham had 15 shots with 6 on target, and then Crystal Palace was real efficient, 10 shots with 9 on target.
There you go.
And then I like Mitrovic's performance, though. I thought he played tough, played hard. I think he's going to be able to play in that role a lot better. Even though it's Crystal Palace, I think it's a fluke loss. They should have won the game, I felt.
I think they should have won the game, too.
But Crystal Palace obviously was well prepared. Zaha got a goal in this.
Yep.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah.
The second goal.
Yep.
And I was happy because these are my fantasy team.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, these are the type of games that Fulham will quickly learn they need to win.
Yes.
Not that I personally think they're going to be relegated this year, but these are the games you need to win to make sure you don't get relegated.
Yeah, exactly. But maybe Crystal Palace might be like, this is how they're going to play all year in a way where they can absorb pressure and be able to score on the counter.
Yeah, we'll see.
It can work. It can work out. Moving on. We got Wolves versus Everton. I watched this game as pretty much almost through, all the way through. 2-2 draw. Possession going 57 to Wolves, 43 to Everton. 11 shots, 4 on target for Wolves, and 6 shots with 5 on target for Everton. Interesting. The game started to get really weird at the 40th minute when Phil Jagielka murdered. I forgot who the guy was, but he.
Wasn't it Neves?
No, it wasn't Neves.
No?
Neves passed the ball to him and then
Okay.
watched him die.
All right.
But regardless, Neves got the free kick. I don't know if you watched the replay on how he moved that free kick up a little bit. Like it was about like almost like 5 yards.
It was for sure.
So he got into that sweet spot.
Was that a red card for you?
I've seen a lot of debates. I think the older guys, like the older people that have played, will probably say it's not, or not even a foul. But for me, I don't know. I guess with the modern take of the game, with the way the officials explained it, and all the old retired refs, I guess it is a foul. So I have to say yes.
I didn't think it was a foul.
I mean, he hit the ball first, technically, right?
Yes, he did, and that's why I didn't think it was a foul. Like he won the ball. He got him with his studs like on the top of the foot or like ankle kind of area. But like he can't win that ball unless he puts his foot in that situation. Like he was full stretch.
Yeah, because like I mean your full studs showing, and then you're extending your leg out. So I don't know.
I mean, was it a dangerous tackle? Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah,
but
it was.
Like he won the ball.
He won the ball. I think what would have been the compromise would just have been a yellow card, I guess, with the free kick.
Yeah, and he not only did he win the ball, but like the ball went in the direction of his tackle. Like it wasn't like he just clipped just nicked the ball or whatever and then caught him. Like it was clean contact on the ball. Obviously went through the guy onto his foot, but like the ball went in the other direction.
Maybe it might have changed the game because Everton still scored goals with 10 men. So
yeah.
Richarlison's second goal was sublime, dude. That was just like, oh, I could do that in FIFA too. But basically I call it the slide in the DMs kind of goal, just like with the Pereira, like just like ooh.
Yeah, it was good. So like he had a really great debut for Everton. Wolves looked. Obviously, they were playing against a 10-man defense, but I thought Wolves looked good, or at least good enough.
I think they need to be a little bit more organized in the back, for me, just because giving up a goal with 10 men, it's kind of shouldn't happen really. But I think they put a lot of pressure on Everton. Honestly, I felt like they did. Neves, I think, is going to be a big player for them, because he got the goal and then he got the assists. From this weekend. But yeah.
This was also a Rui Patricia did start. Oh, Jamatini started too. I don't know why I missed that. Okay, never mind. I was gonna say something really dumb then. I just saved myself.
All right, moving on. Southampton versus Burnley. The only 0-0 draw this past weekend. Excuse me. Sorry. Southampton had 48% possession. Burnley had 52, so basically even. Shots, we got 18 with 2 on target for Southampton. 16 shots with 6 on target for Burnley. I thought both sides had pretty good saves from both sides, both keepers for both teams. Again, I think Southampton ran a
Super Joey Hart.
It's gonna be interesting because like Southampton ran on a 3-man back in this game too, which was interesting. Wonder how.
Who was their third center back? Bertrand.
Bertrand did play, but he played out on the left. Oh, no, the right. My bad. No, it was I have to really look at it.
Hoyt, Vestergaard. Oh, I forgot that they signed Vestergaard.
Yeah, Vestergaard. Was one of them,
Vestergaard,
yeah.
Stevens. Okay.
So it was interesting. See if they keep doing that. Maybe. Who's their the manager's
Mark Hughes.
Mark Hughes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't. Did he? Yeah, he did run a 3-man back in Stoke for a little bit there, right?
Yeah, he did.
So that makes sense. So I mean, I don't know. This game was nothing happened. So
It was good. Good games from both McCarthy and Joe Hart.
yeah.
Kind of strange to see so many, like you said, 18 and 16, so like 34 shots and no goals.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess that's what you get sometimes at the bottom of the table.
Yeah. In a way, we'll see what happens. Moving on, we got the gangbang of the week. Liverpool versus West Ham.
I was really
Oh.
disappointed in West Ham.
Woo.
Well, let me rephrase that. West Ham got what they deserved because
the play style they played. Yeah.
right, they did not set up properly
Mhm.
against Liverpool. Manuel Pellegrini did not set them up properly against Liverpool. But I think that the way that they did play will work against
Lower end.
not
top
Liverpool
6.
and not City.
Yeah.
Because I think Felipe Anderson played really well. I think if this game could have been a little bit different if Arnautovic takes his chances. He was clean through twice and missed in the first half.
I mean, there is a way to beat Liverpool, and that's going to be when they don't backtrack right and to be able to beat them through there. So,
yeah,
you can see that was.
So I think there were encouraging signs, but just starting the year against Liverpool, I think it made it look worse than it was.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I was really hopeful that they would be able to play better than they did.
Yeah. Well, anyways, it was 4-0 to Liverpool. Possession 65 to Liverpool, 35 to West Ham. 18 shots with 8 on target for Liverpool, with 5 with 2 on target for West Ham. Like I said, total domination, I felt like, in a way.
One-way traffic.
Yeah. Joe Gomez playing in the middle, finally. I thought that was a big thing because he's been playing on the
Yay.
left for them for some reason. I know before he came in from, I think it was Charlton's Athletic. And, like, for some reason, they put him on the left even with Brendan Rodgers when he brought him in. I was like, this dude's a center back. What are you doing? I mean,
Brendan Rodgers is crazy.
he has some pace, but then even, like, I think even Jurgen Klopp played him at left for a little bit there, too, just because the left back situation was going on with them before.
Well, I mean, your options being like Moreno or
Yes, I'm
James
saying.
Milner.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Because Robertson
this is
didn't
weird.
play until like more than halfway through last season, I think.
Yeah, but yeah, like, and then give West Ham a time too. I think Pellegrini will figure out what he needs to do. But like I said, once he gets into these like mid-table to bottom half opponents, he'll be able to use the system well.
Yeah, it was kind of as to be expected from Liverpool. I do think that they are at an advantage over the rest of the big teams because so many of their players were back from the World Cup long before the season started. If you look at like the team United put out, even like Leicester didn't start Jamie Vardy and stuff like that. The team City put out such.
You need Christian Pulisic apparently to beat Liverpool.
Yeah, I
right
guess.
now.
So the solid goal, same old, same old. It was a great cross from Robertson. The third goal, the second Mane goal, was offside. So a little bit unlucky for West Ham
Was
there.
there was like two. There was another goal that was questionable because of something. I forgot what it was.
And then
But yeah.
I was really happy to see Daniel Sturridge get a goal. I think that he's the sort of person that could make the difference in how much they challenge City this year if they can have a weapon coming off the bench.
Coming off the bench, or just
Like him and Shaqiri, I think are going to be the most important two.
filling in roles where they need
or cover any injuries, like say like if Firmino gets hurt this year or whatever.
Yeah. Well, they still have what's his name that came in from Chelsea, Solanke, right?
Yeah.
So
They
they have somewhat depth in a way.
They have more depth than they've had for years.
Yeah, for sure, especially in the midfield.
They have a pretty good squad.
Yeah.
Speaking of good squads,
moving on to the last game of the weekend was Arsenal versus Man City. Arsenal went down 2-0. Possession-wise, 42 to Arsenal, 58 to Man City. Shots, 9 with 3 on target for Arsenal, 17 to 8 shots on target for City. That was a great performance by City because of the way Arsenal played and the way they set up. What's the young kid that they played in the midfield?
It starts with a G.
Gudias or something?
I'll say it's like Guedes. Oh, no. Guendouzi.
A little sloppy, but a lot of energy. I think hopefully this doesn't like discourage him on like his just like confidence and stuff. But I think Arsenal just needs to set up better. Niles playing at I think it was left back was a question for me. I was like, he's a winger. I don't know why they were playing him at left back. I guess. Another one was Iwobi was left on the bench, and you're playing Ozil out wide. I don't know what's going on there. I feel like with that said, like if they set up that way, they don't really give them like wide options if they're going to be subbing in those kind of guys, especially with Ramsey playing up higher. I don't know. It was just weird. It was a weird setup. I feel like if you're going to have a bombing or if you're going to like that, I felt like that had like they offered no pace in that setup for me. I mean, you have your fullbacks, but like I feel like it's like you're channeling it through one way. For me, I don't know. It didn't seem natural. The way Emery set it up.
I was really surprised with the setup he went with. I think starting Guendouzi in a game like this when you have Torreira, the Uruguayan guy they signed on the bench, like ready to go, was weird. I think Niles at left back really wasn't a big deal, and I think most of City's more dangerous attacks came down the left anyway. But Arsenal had so many holes in midfield because Ozil was left to defend. When City were in possession, Ozil was left to defend, and Granit Xhaka has never proven that he's good enough. And then you had Xhaka and Guendouzi together in the center of the park, getting bossed by Fernandinho and Bernardo Silva and all of them, all the City midfielders. Mahrez and Sterling like constantly switching sides. It was a little bit different. There was a little bit of variety from the City attack because like half the time Mendy would come into the midfield and half the time he would swing wide and Sterling would cut in on his right. That was another thing that we saw, like Sterling cutting in right, like having a right footer on the left and a left footer on the right, both of them cutting in.
Give me 1 sec. Silva and Sterling's goal, like I peed my pants a little pee came out of my pants for each of those goals.
Sterling's goal was, I mean, okay. He did well to get past Bellerin,
but it was just it was outside the box for me. I was like, oh.
Well, I mean, did you watch any of the games last year? Sterling scored outside the box all the time.
I guess, sure.
That
whatever.
same shot cutting in on his right, like he did that, but it wasn't even that good of a finish.
Sorry.
It wasn't even that good of a finish because the only reason it went in is because Czech was unsighted because Mustafi and Socrates were standing right in front of Sterling. The Silva goal was nice. Mendy had 2 assists. It was good from him, but at the same time, Mendy was not as good defensively as I remember him being. Maybe Bellerin annihilated him once and should have scored. Should have made it 1-1. The standout for me in this game was Bernardo Silva. He was bought to replace, in theory, to replace David Silva, but spent all of the first year, last year,
on the right.
Playing. Okay, I'll just stop talking. Go ahead.
On the right.
Playing on the right, and he finally got to play like with Mahrez on the right, Bernardo Silva in the middle, and he had a great game.
Yeah. because he's like it feels more natural. Even with like in Portugal when they play him out wide, it's just like, dude, just play him in the middle, dude. What are you doing?
And here, let me go through. Let me read this bench to you. It's not even gonna show it all. Oh yeah, it is. Okay. All right. Here's the Manchester City bench in this game: Gabriel Jesus, Leroy Sané, Kevin De Bruyne. Those were our 3 subs. Still on the bench: Company, Otamendi, and Phil Foden.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
No.
We were breezing. I don't really think City played that well. We were really sloppy.
I think it's just the lineup, like your system. Like I said, like system. I take system over quality of players because, like, look at what you did right there. You. I would say you guys, but I think Arsenal also set themselves up to fail.
Yes.
But I think Emery wouldn't have learned that until you guys would have played this game. So you guys would have won the game anyways. Like Arsenal, I don't think Arsenal would have won this game unless they would have started, Lacazette and Aubameyang on top.
Thank you.
And then
Lacazette, Aubameyang, Ozil.
And then put like they didn't have enough midfielders. I feel
They got overran in the midfield.
that's what I'm saying. So you throw Ramsey in that mix, it seems more comfortable. And then if you let Mkhitaryan just roam too with Ozil behind him, like kind of like a 4. What? How many midfielders? 4-3-2-1-2. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just felt like for them, like it's you're only offering your fullbacks to get wide and no one else.
I think
I don't like it.
this was a game where Arsenal. We talked about Newcastle needing to beat Spurs, not needing to beat, but like could.
Yeah.
Huddersfield, but Arsenal, had they set up, I don't know. It was just so weird the way that Unai Emery set up his team. And then if you look at really how sloppy, I think really Manchester City were only at like 60% in this game.
Yeah.
Ederson was turning the ball over out of the back.
I got a clean sheet. I don't care.
Yeah, well, that's true. But he shouldn't. Or Bellerin should have scored against him. He kicked it right at him. And then Lacazette missed like a volley, like just wide. Aubameyang had a couple chances. Like chances were there, and City were sloppy in possession at times. Once Kevin De Bruyne came on, it was a lot better. And Aguero, I forgot his name already again. Let me go back. Guendouzi missed that ball in midfield when he was last man and Aguero went through. Did you see that? Like literally all Aguero had to do was press Y on his controller and square to Kevin De Bruyne.
Save though.
Yeah, Chuck made the save, but like if Aguero squares that, it's 2-0 then. Like luckily Bernardo Silva scored like a minute later.
Yeah.
But so there were it didn't all work for City. Like there was definite signs of rust, but this was also like a great squad that we have, but like this was still in reality a B team. Like this is like on all those subs that I mentioned and people on the bench, there was no David Silva either.
Yeah.
So it's pretty scary, their squad.
Yeah, it's good. Like
This-
I said,
and I'm-
City winning
I'm-
the title.
I'm really happy with the result, obviously. Like to get the Arsenal game over with, the away Arsenal game over with, because I don't have any worries about the home games, really.
Yeah.
The home game against Liverpool, maybe. And I think actually United beat us last year at home.
Yeah, you guys beat us.
We beat
to
you at Old Trafford, and you beat us at
we
home.
traded.
So yeah, good win, 3 points. Not a great performance though, I didn't think.
Moving on though, we're gonna go through the season stats like as like top goal scorers. We won't do it this week because like everyone just is kind of starting out. So next week we'll do it after we go through the review. Richarlison apparently is the top goal scorer, but there's a bunch of 2s and a bunch of other stuff. But yeah,
Pereira, Richarlison, Mane.
yeah, Mane, yeah. So